Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get started so we have the full 30 minutes. Well, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Good to see you all here today. I'm Julie Chabdi, the Associate Director of the Health and Wellbeing Program with the WorkWell Center and your hosts for today. Welcome to EatWell Bites, sponsored by the USC Healthy Campus EatWell Subcommittee. On behalf of our committee, we're excited to continue Eat Well Bites, which is a monthly bite-sized nutrition education webinar on the first Thursday of every month. Our goal is to provide you with practical tips, hands-on demonstrations, resources, and support to help you improve your health and quality of life through nutrition and healthy eating habits. So over the next 30 minutes, we'll be sharing our expertise around this really important topic and engaging you in conversation. Today's topic is on setting up your home kitchen for success, part two, backed by popular demand. So we are going to be sharing tips on how to set up your kitchen, recommend some purchases, discuss ways to improve your efficiency and enjoyment in the kitchen. Throughout today's session, you're welcome to use the chat to make comments or ask questions specific to today's topic. And at the end, we'll have some announcements along with asking you to fill out a survey. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our Eat Well subcommittee co-leads Professor Carrie Kreutzer with the USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology and Keck School of Medicine, and Lindsay Pine, dining dietitian with hospitality, and also the rest of the Eat Well subcommittee you see listed there. The next slide is just a reminder to feel free to stand, stretch, move in any manner that feels best for you during today's session. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our presenters for today. We have Dr. Greg Harlan, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Associate Professor of Clinical Pediatrics and Medical Education with the Keck School of Medicine, and Pablo Blanco, Head Chef and CEO of Blanco Food Company, professional chef and culinary instructor. And with that, I'll turn it over to Greg.
Great. Thanks so much, Julie, and welcome to everyone. So we're going to jump right in. Going to cover three main topics. First, about mise en place. Second, about essential tools for the kitchen, and then, suggest some maybe nice to have tools. And then at the end, Julie and team will wrap it up. So Chef Pablo and I have been working together for the past 6 years. We teach together in the Teaching Kitchen, located at the LA General Wellness Center. And this is a picture of one of our recent classes with dietetic interns as well as medical students, trying to teach in the kitchen. And a lot of this talk comes from conversations we've had where students ask, what do I really need to get started? And what's kind of fun to work with? So we're going to go through that today. At the beginning of our classes, we like to ask, think about your skills in the kitchen. And based on your skills, that might dictate what kind of recipes you're engaging in. And then based on your menus, that dictates your shopping list. So I'm kind of intermediate to advanced chef, mostly home taught or taught by my mom and wife, as well as, of course, Chef Pablo's tutelage. And I've kind of added new equipment. So, for example, something like a mandolin, I don't really use that much, but I recently acquired one, but I'm a little afraid of it. So I use a lot of chopping with a chef's knife. So that's the backdrop. So one term that Chef Pablo's taught me is mise en place, which means everything in its place in French. And really, in preparing your meals, you want to get everything prepared and use, small bowls or proper space on your tabletop, and then add things as you need to go when you're cooking. You also want a small handy bowl to clean as you go. And also, personal tip is helpful to have some time to wash dishes, or even better, someone who can help you wash dishes as you go. So this is my example of, is this good mise en place? I showed this to Chef Pablo. He said, "Oh my gosh, that's terrible. This is my own kitchen." And this is creating one of my favorite dishes, which is a cauliflower-based and sweet potato curry. And you can see I have everything on different cutting boards, and things are in sort of small little piles. So I didn't think it was terrible, but when you look at it, it's not the best. So you can see some of the items there, blue colander to drain my chickpeas, but mostly it's a cutting boards and measuring spoons and knives. This was a home improvement project that I took on a couple of years ago with our spice rack. So you can see the upper left is kind of spices all standing up, but a little bit misaligned. And I created just with some very basic wood, some supportive shelves, and then alphabetized the spices. So a lot easier to know what you have. You could also develop, for example, if you were making a chili dish and you needed specific spices, chili powder, paprika, things, you may put those together. So just kind of a simple project, but something that really helps make it easy to get what you want when you're cooking. This is another small project, which was we had kind of an extra drawer that really wasn't that useful and created just a basic structure to support kind of measuring or stirring spoons, whisks, spatulas. And then on the bottom there, you see larger bottles, hot sauce, things like that. But just having something easy to grab, easy to put away has really helped our flow. And then if you want to think about knives, really there's three main knives that we would suggest. The first is the most versatile, a chef's knife, which has, maybe a 6 to 8 inch blade. And these don't have to be super expensive. Chef Pablo can talk a little more about costs and recommendations, but that's probably your go-to knife for things like chopping and dicing and the most useful. You want a serrated knife for things like bread and even delicate skin things like tomatoes, and then a much smaller, easier to control paring knife for things like slicing and peeling fruit. So this might be using for making banana slices or strawberries. And many of these come in a set, but you can buy them kind of nicely individually. But those are the three we would start with. Another nice item are some glass storage bowls. There's been, quite a bit of plastic in the past and things like BPA in them. A glass is really nice because it doesn't absorb the food odor or food taste, and they're easy to clean, easy to microwave. This is just an example of batch cooking. So preparing something, for example, on a weekend, and then you have multiple dishes for the week. You can freeze them as well. This is a orange chicken ginger, broccoli, and cauliflower rice that we did in one of our classes. Okay, so time for some audience participation. Feel free to share out loud or put in the chat. So, what is your favorite kitchen tool? There we go. Now I can see some really good knife, KitchenAid mixer, spatula, a hand blender, food processor. Now, these are all great. Oh, a cast iron pan. Good. We'll come back to that. And rice cookers. Excellent. Haha, microwave. There you go. Very useful, Julie. Agreed.
Julie, beautiful.
And then the next question is, what kitchen tool do you want to buy next? What's on your wish list? And I see stainless steel cookware. Yeah.
Personal chef. Personal chef, yeah. Hey,
That's good. Yeah,
that's
go for
expensive.
it. Yeah, and better knives. And I think, Chef Pablo, maybe there's some interest in the knives and the titanium cutting board. That's a good question.
Oh,
All right. Oh, cold pressed juicer. Okay, lots of good wish lists. All right, so I'm going to finish here and then pass it over to Chef Pablo. One question that came up last year was, are metal measuring cups better than plastic? In some ways they're more durable and may actually be somewhat easier to clean and to nest. Not that much more expensive than plastic. So we would say yes, but plastic are good. You can easily replace them and kind of carry them around. Do you need a grater? Do you need expensive? So you don't need expensive mixing bowls. You want something that's stable, something that's the right size for you. Things like a kitchen scale knife sharpener are also really nice to have and not very expensive. All right, Chef Pablo, do you want to take over and talk about what's on this slide?
okay, on the slide, so we have a scale there. Scales are important because you can follow a recipe and also you can confirm uh, and scale amounts.
Oh, and this is actually this is our induction burner.
Oh, is that the induction burner?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It
Yeah,
looks like my scale. Okay, so the induction burner, am I gonna, so, the things that you're gonna need to have a successful kitchen and be effective in your kitchen is number one, the menu. I always recommend that you have a menu because that gives you precise instructions as far as the amount you're going to need, the cooking techniques that you're going to employ. And then after that would follow your mise en place, everything in its place, as Dr. Harlan mentioned. It's important to be organized when you're going to execute a recipe because you have a lot of ingredients and everything is based off of timing. Some of your items on your menu are going to require a longer times than others. So the mise en place will definitely help facilitate that process and help you be an effective cook and execute a recipe with total success. And the tools that I think the basic tools, I think knife was one of them, right, Dr. Harlan? I
Yes,
just recently purchased a Japanese knife, which are famous for
there you go.
for efficiency. It's a French knife. The difference is the handle. They have a different handle, but also they maintain their sharpness. I've always bought like just basic knives. When I first started my career, I bought the Henkels and I bought the Forstners, the expensive knives, but I would use them and we put a lot of use to knives, so they would they would uh they would get lost or they would get used. And I figured, I'm just going to get a basic knife because that way, if I need to replace it, then I could always buy another one. So this is a basic knife. This would cost you like $20, on Amazon. It serves the purpose. I keep it sharp, either with a stone and a steel. This is another thing that's very critical to keep a knife sharp is a steel. Now this keeps your knife sharp. It doesn't actually sharpen it, but it keeps your blade on that. One side's just flat, but the other side actually keeps keeps it sharp. And so even though this is a basic knife, it serves the purpose for whatever you want to do. But if you want to upgrade and go to a Japanese knife, I mean, the knife, the prices go up. You have the average tier, then you have the medium tier, and then you have the upscale tier. They go up to $2,000. They're made of good iron. They're made of good material. And this one I found is very effective. I love it. It cost me $50. Not bad.
Hmm.
I was gonna get the couple $100 one, but I said I'm gonna experiment with it first.
Yeah.
And if I like it, then I'm gonna upgrade to more but I like this one. It serves a purpose for me. So it's up to you what you like, but you learn to sharpen your knife and you could use a basic knife, but if you want to upgrade and get a fancy knife, you can do that also. And then also the things that are important also to have like basic tools is you want to have your fork. These forks are important because not only do they help you to access proteins or stab a large piece of protein and pull it out of the pan, but also these serve as also to uh, uh, open up pockets of air for rice. If you're cooking rice, you want to always open up the air pockets so you don't overcook your rice. When your rice gets really sticky and then it gets mushy, it's because the air, carryover heat continues to cook. So this is an important one. These are really nice too. This little peeler here is made out of carbon steel, the blade. They're really, really effective. And in the industry, all the chefs are using these. They're really light. They don't look like much, but they're really effective. And you can get 5 or 6, for $10. I mean, 3 or 4, $10, 15, $20. Depends which ones you're looking for. We talked about the thermometer. Thermometers are a must for any beginner, intermediate, or advanced cooking chef. home chef, because this will accurately give you a temperature. A lot of people ask me, I cook chicken breast, but it dries up. Well, chicken breast will not dry up if you cook it to the appropriate temperature. And how do you know the appropriate temperature? Thermometer. This is accuracy right here. You every time if you take the temperature on your chicken breast, depending on what chicken breast it is, you will accurately cook it, and it will remain juicy, and it will remain flavorful. You don't have to overcook it. Spatulas, the rubber spatulas are nice. You always want to use your rubber spatula. The flat side it really hugs every corner, and the round side is for when you want to go into bowls on the side, or anything that has a curvature. And I think that so. Oh, also, Dr. Harlan mentioned a mandolin. Mandolins are great. These will give you small julienne cuts that professional chefs, take 2 years to learn in culinary school, and you automatically do it here on a mandolin. The thing about a mandolin is it has a very, very, very sharp blade, and I would recommend to everyone, if you're going to use a mandolin, that you get a cutting glove. Cutting gloves, these run about, 20, $15, and you could run it right along the blade here, touch the blade, and it won't hurt you.
Hmm.
You cut half moons, you could do small juliennes, and in an efficient amount of time. If you want to do coleslaw, I know a lot of you like your food processor, but this is faster and more. You
Mm.
go directly to your pan, bam, 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 and you're done.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm going to learn, Chef Pablo. I have the mandolin, but I haven't played with it yet.
Yeah, no, they're great.
The
I
glove
love
is helpful.
mandolins.
And I think there's a couple of questions, Chef Pablo. One is, where can they buy the Japanese knife that you have?
Okay, so the Japanese knife I bought it online, Amazon. That's
Okay.
where I buy most of the stuff. It delivered to my door. This is a Famcoat brand. But when you go online, you know, access the comments on it and the characteristics of the knife and its efficiency, and then also you'll probably see some folks that recommend it because they bought one, and then also the stars and how many have been purchased. But I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Everybody
And there's
compliments me
and
on
then
it.
there's another question about how you like the ceramic blades.
Ceramic blades are okay. I don't have one. I've used them. I've seen them in classes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, and I don't know if anyone wants to unmute and ask any questions, that may be helpful too.
Yeah, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat if you have any questions so far. I think you have one more slide there.
Can you see? I'm not see that.
It's
That's
not
our
moving.
last one, and then the EatWell Bites.
You have one more after this one, after the one with the induction.
Yeah, there. Do you see
There you
that
go.
one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Are you seeing my not presenter mode now?
it's in a regular mode, but it's there.
Mhm.
There it is. Okay. Yep,
Okay,
you got it. Just go back one slide.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, what about so maybe we'll talk about cast iron pots. We recently bought one, I think for under $100. We use it quite a bit, in the morning for eggs and mushrooms, things like that, cooking fish. It looked like someone actually had that on their wish list. Chef Pablo, what's your take on the cast iron?
Yeah, so those are made in a mold. So there's a question, how do you clean a cast iron pan? Well, you always want to clean it with a clean rag. And the great thing about the cast iron pans, they're best pan for cooking eggs. They are. It's because the surface. It's a mold made with the iron, and it's thick, and it takes a little while to heat up and evenly spread the heat around the cooking surface of the pan. One of the downsides is that it's kind of heavy. It's kind
Hmm.
of heavy. Most persons would need two hands to pick them up. But the surface, the cooking surface is highly effective for almost anything, especially for searing. If you want to sear a steak, if you want to sear
Mhm.
chicken, you want to sear pork, vegetables.
Yeah, and
It's
the cleaning
definitely.
process, at least the one that we bought, was a company. It wasn't Forge, but it was another company, and they just recommended soapy water and a slightly abrasive sponge, like one of the scrubbies.
Right.
And you don't want to soak it, for a long time in water. It will kind of ruin the coating. And so a little bit of soaked water, soapy water, and then it just rubs off. A little bit of scrubbing's okay, and then you coat it with a little bit of oil when you put it away, and that kind of
Right.
helps to, they call it season the
Season it,
paint.
yeah. It always has to say season, and you have to dry it because it will rust. There was a question on there, Dr. Holland. I think it was aluminum or stainless
Oh
steel
yeah,
versus
cast iron
cast iron.
versus
Yeah.
stainless. Yeah.
So the cast iron, like I said, is a very heavy pan. It's good because it's made in a mold and it's just really heavy. That's one of the, if you're looking to be, if you're looking to saute and move around in the kitchen with your pan and flip things over and stuff like that, it's not going to happen with the cast iron pan. Your saute pan gives you that flexibility. You could also on a steel pan or aluminum pan, you can sear and you can saute and you can flip things and you can raise your pan, bring it closer, to your plate like we do professionally, and then serve each plate from the pan. But a cast iron pan, you can't do that. You have to come up close to the pan or bring the pan close up to the table where you're serving at. But the cooking surface of a cast iron pan is the best. It's it's just a really hard surface. You don't want to use a steel wool on a cast iron uh, pan because it scratches your surface. You're not going to get anything that would require a steel wool. Steel wool is when you have a surface that has been that the that anything that sticks to a pan. Most things won't stick to a cast iron pan if you cook it properly.
Yeah, and
You
it
don't want
seems like yeah, it seems like it sticks a little bit, but it really easily raises with just a little soapy water.
yeah,
Surprisingly easier to clean than I thought.
yeah. It's like a command.
Question on storage, going back to the storage, the meal prep that you showed earlier, Greg, which I
Hmm.
love. We always suggest people meal prep. How long would you suggest someone keep and store their leftovers, if you can answer that? And then what kind of storage should be used? And then if they want to heat it up or microwave, keep it in the same storage container or take it out and put in something else.
Mm.
Can either one of you speak to
Yeah.
that?
Chef Pablo, you want to answer?
Yes. So you have like a 4 hour window to cool your food once you cook it. And if you're going to, like meal prep, or if you're going to store leftovers, you want to make sure uh that you properly cool your food and bring it down to a temperature of at least 41 degrees, and then you can place it in your container, or 50 degrees is okay, but it has to be brought down from temperature. You just don't want to take something that you cooked and it's still hot, and then cover it and seal it, because of the carryover heat, and it's not going to retain its and it could spoil.
Mm.
But so you want to bring it down in temperature. And then you do want to use the containers that we spoke about the other day, Dr. Harlan, the ones that seal,
Hmm.
the glass ones. I have the professional wear where everything clips together, not doesn't clip together, but it seals together once you press it in. But
Mhm.
those are the same type of things. The objective to storing it well is to seal it from oxygen, because the oxygen will oxidize it. Once you expose food to oxygen, it oxidizes it, and the degradation of the product begins every time it's exposed to oxygen. So if you
Yeah.
seal it properly, you could store it there for 7 days, up to
Mhm.
7 days, and label it so that you know that it's been in there 7 days. Once it's 7 days, it's recommended that you throw it away.
Yeah, and then I think with reheating it in the same container versus another, I think that's just personal preference. If you bring it to work and it's easy to just put it straight in the microwave or reheat it, then that's convenient. But I don't think there's any advantage to switching it to another container.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, good questions.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes for questions. Anyone else? This is your chance.
Share this. I was also going to share strainers. Strainers are important. If you're cooking pasta or if you're steaming vegetables or anything that you want to retrieve from a pan, this is what you call a spider. This is like an industrial size one. Most of my tools are industrial size. They're really convenient because you can pick up mostly all your vegetables in one scoop
Mm,
to feed, a family of five or a family of six. They have smaller size ones, but they're great because they have a handle, they're light, and you can go in and retrieve it. Or
mm,
you have also these type of strainers that have the really fine mesh, and then they have the cap ones. But in your home, these you can use in a sink.
hmm.
They're convenient. They have a
And what's the
handle.
best place, Chef Pablo? Where would you find something like that that
This
I
you can
might
find
not
in
see?
any
Okay.
restaurant supply or online.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm. We have one last question here going back to the storage and the containers. Is it okay to portion out the food into containers and let them cool before storing, or is it better to cool first and then place into the containers?
Mm,
Yeah, cool first and then place into the containers. You want to cool it first. They have a cooling racks that you can use. You can put a
Oh,
cooling rack on a sheet pan, make sure everything is up on top there. But you want to leave it on an open surface, not in the pan itself, because the walls around the vegetables or around your meat and everything else will help it maintain its carryover heat longer. So if you expose it to a flatter surface, the air that circulates around it, you want to get it to an area where air circulates around it and even
mm.
under it with the cooling trays. That's why
got
cooling trays
it.
are effective.
Got it. And here's one last question. Can we disinfect a wood cutting board with hydrogen peroxide?
Mm.
The wooden boards aren't really highly recommended, even though we all have them at home. I have plastic and wood because it's a penetrable surface. It's a porous surface, and the more you use it with your knives and that kind of thing and scrape it, bacteria can get caught up in there. So, the plastic or is always better. The hard plastic is always better. But if you do have a wooden one, I recommend buying a test strip, and I'll show you one. This is a test strip that will regulate bleach and water accurately. You want to get it in 100, you want to get it in the 10% to 50% uh per million, and it will indicate here. All you do is just you pull out the test strip, and so you add a couple of drops of water, a teaspoon of water to a typical spray bottle, and that will give you an automatic sanitizer
Mm.
to kill 99% of all bacteria.
A teaspoon of bleach.
A teaspoon of bleach.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying a teaspoon of bleach, but I'm saying, if you add a teaspoon of bleach to any amount of water, test strip it, and then that way you could accurately
Yeah.
determine if it's a safe amount. If it reaches your, 200 parts per million and it's too dark, the test strip, uh, you know, verifies that it's too dark, then you want to actually cut it down with water to reach a safe
Hmm.
amount. The
Mhm.
first two indicators, 150 to 10 to 50, even 100 is safe, but 10 to 50 is safe. You could
And
even spray
Pablo,
it. You could spray it on your plates after you wash them and let it
Mm.
dry, and it's still safe.
great. Thank you, Pablo. And then can you do a quick answer to this one? Is there a recommended way to dry dishes and containers to avoid contamination, like washcloth versus air dry? What's your preference?
Yeah. So once you wash it with soap and hot water, so there's two things that kill bacteria: hot water or chemicals. Those are the two things. So once you wash and sanitize the dish, the best thing is to air dry it.
Got it. Great. Thank you so much, Pablo and Greg, for this really informative session. Much, much appreciated. I'll turn it over to Lindsay to wrap us up.
All right, thank you. I'm just here to pop in to highlight our Eat Well resources that you can see there on the screen. And if you scan that QR code, it will oops, that's not, there we go. It'll take you directly to our Eat Well website that has tons of resources, whether you're looking for reputable nutrition information, how to make an appointment with a registered dietitian, our Eat Well cookbook, that's on the next slide there, which is completely full of recipes from USC staff and faculty, and then, of course, our many balanced dining guides that we have for campus and beyond. And then next slide. And of course, we have our Eat Well meals on campus from USC Hospitality. And these are the meals that fit within a set of nutritional guidelines. And today I want to highlight C&G Juice Co., which is a great little spot over at the Tudor Campus Center over there on the UPC campus. For when you're in the mood for a refreshing smoothie or a juice. Most of the smoothies on their menu do fit within that Eat Well set of nutritional guidelines, as well as the Mother Nature green juice and the freshly squeezed orange juice too. And I also want to highlight the Protein Power Smoothie, which is now a 100% plant-based smoothie and contains a plant-based protein blend of pea, brown rice, and quinoa protein. And actually, in fact, all of the Eat Well menu items here are plant-based. So you can order anything from C&G at the in-person kiosks or the campus dining mobile ordering app. Oh, and also wanted to mention one more thing. So we're starting our some new menu ideation for the Eat Well program. And as we're just starting this process, if you would love to submit any suggestions, ideas for things that you would like to see on this menu in any of our dining facilities, go ahead and let us know in the survey that you're going to get after this webinar is over.
Great. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for all that exciting information. And just a reminder to see you all next month. Our next topic is ultra processed foods, taking a look and digging deeper into what they mean, the latest research, and how we can better navigate our nutrition and our grocery stores. And this will be held on March 5th. And our presenter is Rachel Lander Canseco. So please join us for that. And then the very last slide, we just want to say thank you, give you an opportunity to fill out our evaluation form, give us feedback and suggestions. And then for those of you who entered into the raffle, we'd like to do that right now. If Greg, can you stop sharing your screen and we'll pull up our wheel and we'll see who the lucky winner is. And Suzanne will be in touch with you to coordinate delivery of your raffle prize. So thank you everyone for being here. Aaron Kim,
Aaron.
congratulations.
Yay!
Yay. Congratulations, Aaron. I don't know if you're still here. We'll be in touch with you. And thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you all next month. Take care.
Thank you.